So in the last class we talked about radioactive radiations. Now let us talk about further about radioactivity. Okay. So radioactivity. Mhm. Radioactivity was discovered by radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel.
जय दूर तपे
Very nice, Abigail. Very nice. Very good. Abigail, very good. Continue, please. Hello. Please continue. So, radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. What is this? Microsoft Whiteboard not responding. Whiteboard got mesmerized after listening to the song sung by Abigail. Where is that? I can't see it. Whiteboard. It's not moving. Abigail, what you have done? uh, HP, I don't want. Whiteboard. Just a second, everyone. So I was telling you, let it come. It is taking time. So I was telling you that radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. Okay. So what he observed when he discovered this, that certain compounds of uranium were emitting invisible radiations. Okay. And how did he got to know that this certain compounds are emitting invisible radiations? Photographic plates were there in the vicinity, and those plates were getting affected. You all would not have seen those photographic films which earlier were being used to take photography. Okay, you can imagine it like your what we can call x-rays. So x-ray film is a thick one, photography film were thin. Okay, so what used to happen, that there used to be photographic film, and when light used to fall on it or some radiation used to fall on it, it used to get exposed. Exposed means it is used. Okay, so that thing was happening, that thing was happening due to radioactivity. And be very clear, that film was kept in a dark environment. Dark environment means there was no light in that environment. That means there was no reason for the photographic film to get exposed. But even then it was happening. That means something unknown is there, and that's how this radioactivity was discovered. That's how the radioactivity was discovered. All right. So radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. Radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. Okay. And what happened in at that time? That uranium atoms were emitting. Uranium atoms were emitting certain radiations, certain unknown radiations, unknown radiations which were affecting which were affecting photographic films, which were affecting photographic films. Okay, which were affecting photographic films. Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Today this whiteboard is not working properly. I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay. So we have already talked that these radiations are of three types: alpha emission, beta emission, and gamma emission. These radiations are of. Let me explain this verbally. Okay, everyone. So these radiations were of three types: alpha emission, beta emission, and gamma emission. In alpha emission, what is happening? Alpha particles are being emitted. In beta emission, beta particles were emitted. Now these beta particles were of two types: beta negative and beta positive. And the third type of radiations were gamma radiations. Third type of radiations were gamma radiations. In alpha emission, when alpha particles were being emitted, atomic number was getting decreased by 2, and mass number was getting decreased by 4 in alpha emission. In beta emission, atomic number, when we are talking about beta negative, atomic number got increased by 1, mass number remains same. Mass number remains same. And in gamma emission, neither atomic number was changing nor mass number was changing. Why? Because gamma particles were nothing but photons. Gamma particles were nothing but photons. All right. Okay. Okay. So now, law of radioactive decay. Law of radioactive decay. So please write law of radioactive decay. So what law of radioactive decay says? That rate of disintegration of a radioactive sample, okay, rate of disintegration of a radioactive sample is proportional to the number of radioactive atoms present at that instant. Okay, that is law of radioactive decay. So please write according to this law, rate of disintegration of a radioactive sample is proportional to the number of active nuclei present, and the number of active nuclei will be equal to number of active atoms present. Okay, so pay attention everyone. What does it mean? It means minus dN by dt. Listen very carefully. What is minus dN by dt? Minus dN by dt is rate of disintegration. Why minus sign is used? Because it is disintegrating. So when it is disintegrating, number of active nuclei will decrease. So minus of dN by dt is proportional to n. Minus of dN by dt is proportional to n, and what we can write further is minus dN by dt is equal to minus dN by dt is equal to lambda n. Minus dN by dt is equal to lambda n. Here lambda is a constant. Called disintegration constant. Here lambda is a constant called disintegration constant or decay constant. All right. Any doubt, any question? We'll be taking up this further, but before that, let me tell you a few important things. Number one, radioactive decay is a very, what we can say, random process. Okay, so disintegration of a radioactive material, disintegration of a radioactive sample is a proper word. So disintegration of a radioactive sample is a purely random process. And it's merely a matter of chance, that which nucleus will suffer disintegration first. Which nucleus will suffer disintegration first? Now try to understand what is meaning of this statement. Okay, so suppose we have a container, okay, container or sample, and in which very large number of nuclei are present. I am showing them by dots. So there are very large number of nuclei present in this. Okay, now pay attention. Out of these so many radioactive nuclei present, which particular nucleus will be disintegrated? Nobody can decide that. Nobody can decide that. It's a random process. Any of the nucleus can get disintegrated first, or other can disintegrate later. Understood? So it's a random process. It is not a sequential process ki number 1, number 2, number 3. No. It is not dependent on age also. कि अच्छा तुम छोटे हो तुम disintegrate बाद में होगे. No, not like that. It's a random process. If you have a sample, okay, in that sample which nucleus will be disintegrated now, which nucleus will be disintegrated later, nobody can decide that. So it's a random process. Keep that thing in mind. Okay. The next thing is that rate of decay is completely independent of physical composition or chemical condition of the material. Now what does it mean? Try to understand. Suppose you have a sample of uranium. Okay. Now that uranium is mixed with sand, or that uranium is mixed with water or any other material. So it is immaterial what is mixed with that. Its way of disintegration will be independent of what is mixed with that. It will disintegrate the way it is supposed to be disintegrated. Understood? So it is not dependent on physical and chemical conditions. Understood? Okay, so now let us get back to our law of radioactive disintegration. It says minus dN by dt is equal to lambda n. Okay, now what we can do, everyone please pay attention. I am doing dN upon n. Okay, dN upon n is equal to minus lambda dt. So I have simplified. I kept n in one side and dt on another side, different side. All right. Now I am going to integrate. So integrating both sides. Integrating both sides. So pay attention. Integration dN up to 0. Can you hear me, everyone? Can you hear me? So when t is equal to 0, n is equal to n naught. When t is equal to 0, time is 0, then n is equal to n naught. That means initial activity of sample. And when time becomes t, n becomes n. So that is the limit. That is the limit. Now pay attention. Integration dn upon n, it will be log n. And limit is from n naught to n. And minus lambda is anyway outside. Integration dt will be t and limit is from 0 to t. So what we can do, pay attention everyone, log of n minus log of n naught is equal to minus lambda t. Now log m minus log n is equal to log of n upon n naught. Okay, is equal to minus lambda t, and that gives us, pay attention, n upon n naught is equal to e to the power minus lambda t, and it gives n is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda t. This will be the Let me call this as equation 2. So equation 2 gives activity of sample, activity भी बोल सकते हो, और number of active nucleus, number of active nuclei, as a function of time, So n is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda t. N is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda t. Okay. So this formula can be used to find how many number of active nuclei are present at any time t. Any doubt, any question? Okay. Now let us see further. Okay. If, or special cases. So number 1. If n is equal to n naught by 2. If n is equal to n naught by 2. So let us see what will happen. So we are going to put n naught by 2 is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda into t half. I am putting time as t half. Why we are calling it t half? You will see just after a few moments. So this gives this. That means e to the power minus lambda into t half is equal to 1 upon 2. And that gives you t half. I am writing directly. T half is equal to 0.693 upon lambda. 0.693 upon lambda. This is equation number 3. What is T half here? T half is the time in which activity of a sample reduces to half of initial value. So this is called half-life. This is called half-life. T half. T half. Okay. So what is half-life? Half-life of a sample. Half-life of a sample is the time. Half-life of a sample is the time in which number of active nucleus becomes half of initial value. So T half is equal to 0.693 upon lambda. Remember this, everyone. Okay. Remember this, everyone. Any doubt, any question? Good. So this is half-life. Now comes mean life. What comes? Mean life. Mean life. Okay. So T mean. So when n becomes n naught by e. When n becomes n naught by e, let us put it there. So n naught by e is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda into t mean. It is also called average life. Okay. So n naught got cancelled from both sides. Okay. and that gives you T mean is equal to 1 upon lambda. T mean is equal to 1 upon lambda. So what is mean life or average life? Mean life is the time, mean life of a sample. Which type of sample? Radioactive. So mean life of a sample is the time, in which activity, or you can say number of active nucleus, number of active nucleus become number of active nucleus become 1 by E times 1 by E times of initial value. 1 by E time of initial value. Okay, please note this everyone. Please note this everyone. All right. All right. All right. All right. Can we move further? Good. So what we can do, we can draw a graph between time and n. N means number of active nucleus or nuclei. Okay, and we know formula is n is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda t. That is the formula. So if this is the case, the activity will decrease exponentially. Activity will decrease exponentially. E to the power minus lambda means what? It is exponentially decreasing function. So initial value is n naught. All right. After one half life, after one half life, so suppose this is t half, how much it will be remaining? It will be remaining n naught by 2. After two half lives, after two half lives, so 2t half, how much that will be? Half of n naught by 2. Half of n naught by 2 means n naught by 4. So after 3 half lives, what will happen? 3 times t half, it will be half of n naught by 4. That means it is n naught by 8, and so on, and so on. All right. All right. So after n half lives, after n half lives, okay, after n half lives, number of active nuclei, number of active nucleus or nuclei will be, so n is equal to n naught upon 2 to the power n. N is equal to n naught upon 2 to the power n. Please note everyone. Please note everyone. Okay. Please note. Noted everyone? All right. Question. Question. If half-life of a sample is 2 hours. If half-life of a sample is 2 hours, how much will be the activity left in sample after 10 hours? Please tell everyone. Done. Now if you see, one half-life is of 2 hours. So as one half-life is equal to 2 hours, hence in 10 hours number of half-lives is equal to 10 upon 2 is equal to 5. Hence activity left for the sample. So n is equal to n naught upon 2 to the power n is equal to n naught upon 2 to the power 5. Now 2 to the power 5 means n naught upon 32. Answer. Understood everyone? Understood? Good. Question. Half-life of a sample is 5,000 years. Half-life of a sample is 5,000 years if activity of a sample is found to be 12.5%. Find age of sample. Everyone please keep your mic muted. Someone's mic is unmuted. I can hear the background noises. Please keep your mics muted. 4 persons have attempted the question so far. Okay, everyone, please pay attention. Suppose initially it was 100 activity or number of active nuclei. All right. After one half life, it will be 50. Okay. So this is one half life. After one more half life, it will be 25. After one more half life, it will be 12.5. So basically, in how many half lives it will be 12.5? 3. 3. Correct? Time is equal to 3 half lives. Okay, so 3 into 5,000 will be 15,000 years. Now let me tell you, that is the exactly method used in carbon dating process. That is, this is the method which is used in carbon dating process, because when any sample is being taken, there is very limit amount of that allotrope of carbon is present, and which is radioactive in nature. So based on the activity of that radioactive substance, okay, we find out that how much is the age of the sample. So that's what is being done in carbon dating. All right, good. Okay, now unit of radioactivity is curie. Please note, unit of radioactivity is curie. So 1 curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration per second, DPS, disintegration per second. Okay, okay. Now there is another unit which is Rutherford. So one Rutherford is equal to 10 to the power 6 DPS. 1 Rutherford is equal to 10 to the power 6 DPS. Then there is another unit which is becquerel. So 1 becquerel is equal to 1 disintegration 1 DPS. All right, 1 DPS. So basically you can say that 1 curie, let me write it here itself, is equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 becquerel, BQ or BEQU. If all right. So 1 curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration per second. Disintegration per second. Let me give you a few more questions. Question. Okay. Half-life of radium, half life of radium is 1600 years. 1600 years. After how many years? After how many years will 1 gram of pure radium be reduced to 1 centigram? 1 centigram. Please tell everyone. Please solve and tell. Done. People are getting different years as answers. People are getting different years as answers. One is getting 3200 years, one is getting 9600 years. All right. Malaika is also saying 3200. Aman is saying 9600. Soham is saying 9600. I think you have done rounding off. Everyone, please pay attention. So here, n naught n is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda t. Okay, t is the time. Okay, so the half-life of a radioactive this is this. After how many years will 1 gram of pure radium reduce to 1 centigram? So n is how much? N is 1 centigram. Okay, how much was n naught? N naught is 1 gram. Correct. So if you see n naught upon n, if you see n naught upon n, then how much it is? N naught is initial value. N naught is initial value. So it is 1 gram. This is centi. Centi means 10 to the power minus 2. So 1 into 10 to the power minus 2 grams. Alright. So that comes out to be n naught upon n is equal to 1 upon 10 to the power minus 2. 1 upon 10 to the power minus 2. So that means n upon n naught is equal to 10 to the power 2. Correct? So 10 to the power 2 is equal to e to the power minus lambda t. E to the power minus lambda t, and how much is value of lambda? If you see, lambda is 0.693 upon t half. Lambda is 0.693 upon t half. So 10 to the power 2 is equal to e to the power minus, okay, 0.693 upon t half. T half कितना है? 1600. This is in years, mind it. And this t is anyway here. This t is anyway here. So if I take log on both sides, taking log on both sides, so log base e 10 2 is equal to log e will be 1. Let me write once. Log e minus 0.693 upon 1600 into t. So this becomes 1. So 2 comes in front. Log E10 is equal to minus 0.693 upon 1600 into t, and when you simplify this you get t is equal to 1600 into 2 upon log E10 into 0.693. Okay, now when you simplify this further you get t is equal to 10631.2 years. This was slightly complicated calculation for you. I understand that. Okay, everyone. Please note. So those who are getting 1900, Those who were getting 9600, they were basically doing, rounding off close to the. Noted, everyone? Okay. Next question. Determine the half-life of a radioactive material determine the half-life of a radioactive material its activity if its activity falls to 1 by 16th of its initial value in 30 years. Please tell everyone. Okay, everyone, please pay attention. So what is happening? Suppose initial is 1. Okay. So after one half life, it will be 1 by 2. After two half lives, it will be 1 by 4. After three half lives, it will be 1 by 8. And after four half lives, it will be 1 by 6. That means how much time it is there in 30 years. So here 30 years, So T half comes out to be 30 by 4. That means T half comes out to be 7.5 Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay, Tanisha. Okay. So now let us move forward, and that is nuclear reactions. Nuclear reactions. Okay. This is the last part of this chapter. Nuclear reactions. Okay. Just a second. Hold on, everyone. Just a second. Hello. So neutral changes. Okay. Understood. So such reactions, such reactions during which such reactions during which change in change in nucleus of atom change in nucleus of atom takes place are called Okay. Everyone, please. Try, try to understand the importance and significance. Why? Because number of reaction is clear. So number is nuclear fission and number two is nuclear fusion. Okay. What is fission reaction? So please write nuclear fission reaction. Nuclear.
Sir, we can't hear you properly.
So a
Sir, we
fission
can't hear you.
reaction. Can you hear me?
Sir,
Can't
please
hear.
scroll up.
Hmm?
Sir, we were messaging from past 5 minutes. Your voice was cracking when you were talking. और थोड़े पास मिस हो.
Can you now? Can you hear me?